This is breaking news on the That's Good Sports podcast. The news has been broke. We're breaking it. While Will and I were recording the normal podcast, it was announced that Broncos owner Pat Bowlen has been selected as a finalist for a contributor to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He will be voted on February 2nd to see if he makes it in. All he needs to do is receive 80% of the votes from the people in the room. And if there is somebody in that room who doesn't vote Pat Bowlen into the Hall of Fame, it is safe to assume they have no soul, are a giant asshole, and shouldn't be on the committee anyway. So it's pretty much safe to say Pat Bowlen finally getting into the Hall of Fame as Denver Broncos owner. He joined the team in 1984, of course, the same year I was born, so a little bit of fate or destiny there, if you will. And in his 30-year run as owner of the team, or 31, however long before it went over to a trust, he was the only owner in NFL history to have his team never lose a football game. So I think the thing that Pat Bowlen is most famous for is the Broncos, since he took over in 1984, have never lost a football game. Of course, 1 year, he took over the team 1 year after John Elway got in there. Elway finished his career never losing a Super Bowl. He did a lot for the NFL in terms of he sealed the deal for a lot of the television rights. So he helped make the NFL rich as hell, like Axelrod from Billions rich. And, of course, he was an advocate for making the game more dangerous. Now everybody wants to make it safer, but Pat Bowlen was always about making it more dangerous, but he loved his players. He took great care of the players and respected them more than all of the other NFL owners combined. So all the other NFL owners only have a little bit of respect for the players. Pat Bowlen always had more than them. And yeah, just a really good day for Broncos country, and wanted to make that announcement since we didn't catch it before what happened while we were recording. So now we can start the podcast. Hey, welcome to the That's Good Sports podcast. This is a podcast voice. I am Brandon Perna here with Will, the man with the big old muscles, Keys.
So I have some big news. After what was a pretty embarrassing week for me, I turned off my notifications. So I'm a changed man. I'm a changed person.
Rough week for you in the comments, Will?
Maybe. People were accusing me of being a jerk, notification jerk. And to be honest, I can't defend myself. Like, they were right. I was wrong.
That's the one thing I've learned is internet commenters are always 100% correct and accurate at judging your character, not just as a person, making a piece of creative content, but as a human being.
I think internet commenters, specifically YouTube, are the pillars of society.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the glue. They're the fabric of society. They hold us all together.
So it's been a rough week for Will. In this podcast here of That's Good Sports Podcasting, we're going to talk about the Broncos for the first half and then the NFL for the second half. On the docket today, we've got a little bit of what our takeaways from the Broncos-Bears game were, and heading into Broncos versus Redskins sort of preview. We're going to talk about Carlos Henderson's return, Su'a Cravens a little bit here. And then with NFL news, we've got Adrian Peterson going to Washington. The Chiefs cut Sharkandrick West. Raiders signed Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. The helmet rule and its insanity. And a new segment Will is putting together called Take Hunters. It's nothing like House Hunter, so if you love that show, you will hate this.
Yes.
And before we get started, please, this podcast is on iTunes and Podbean. Give us a rating in iTunes. Like, you got to rate us with 5 stars, or else iTunes tells us to go fuck ourselves and makes us die in obscurity of the podcast land, because there are a billion podcasts now. So if you're watching on That's Good Broncos YouTube channel and you want to find it somewhere else and listen to it on your phones, Podbean, iTunes, That's Good Sports Podcast. And yeah, those are the things you have to say to start a podcast, Will.
Yeah. Also, like and subscribe. I think that's a YouTube thing, though, right? Yeah,
liking the videos and commenting in the videos helps the algorithm. And if people don't do that, YouTube's like, well, this video sucks, so nobody needs to see it.
Yeah, most YouTubers start off like, hey, what's up, guys? Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. So
yeah,
and usually they're in 8th grade. So.
Yeah, and usually they have 1 million more subscribers than me.
It really doesn't make a lot of sense, but
I feel like if I had muscles and could have my shirt off more, that might help.
No one said you couldn't take your shirt off.
Well, I have, but I seem to lose subscribers every time I do it.
Oh, that's their own fault, pal.
Ask me how I'm doing, Will.
Hey, Brandon, how are you doing?
You know what, Will? Thanks for asking. I'm a little frustrated right now because I was trying
Why
to get.
Are you frustrated?
I was trying to get my Broncos Redskins preview video up before we started this podcast, and I edit all the videos in Adobe Premiere. And sometimes Adobe Premiere likes to do this thing where
is this like a really intricate ad read that you're doing for Adobe Premiere?
No, because I'm about to shit on it.
What if they try to sponsor?
I love Adobe Premiere, but it does this thing every now and then when you try and export a video. Video editors out there are going to understand this, where it just says file error unknown, can't export video. So it does this thing where it won't export your video, and it tells you nothing about how to solve the issue. And you just have to fucking guess what the problem is. And sometimes that is easy to figure out, and sometimes it's hard to figure out. And what I've learned is it's almost always an image that has a resolution that's too high. So video editor tips out there, if Premiere keeps crashing on your ass for no reason, and I don't know why I haven't learned this because it's happened 10 times every fucking season, it's because of an image probably being too big. And I don't know why it can't handle a high-res image, but it can handle higher res video. And in this episode, the image was a selfie I took as a joke of my ass in the mirror. And it took me 5 times to realize it was my own stupid picture that was fucking up my video. So I needed to get that off my chest.
How are you taking 5,000 by 5,000 pixel selfies of your butt?
It was 3,000 by 2,600, and my phone must be set to HDR image mode, and I need to change it.
Yeah. Okay, Ansel Adams.
Also, because I've got that 128 gigs of space on my phone, Will.
No, hey, can't argue.
Which is almost full, by the way. That's how I live.
Big trouble in Little Colorado.
Okay, so let's start it. What are we starting with?
Okay, so I thought we would kick things off by talking about the game that was played last Saturday night. It's been a while already. It's Thursday. But
yeah, it's almost too late to even discuss it, right?
Yeah, I think we can get into it a little bit. I don't know. Fucking let's move ahead. No, okay, so some quick takeaways. Did you take away anything meaningful from the game? I know you didn't watch it live, but I'm sure you watched a few replays.
I watched it. I watched the whole thing later that night because I was at a wedding. That's the kind of commitment I have to my stupid.
If you're really committed, you would have watched it at the wedding. So
yeah, I would have, but I thought that was a little rude, you know.
I think it's rude. I think it's rude to have a wedding during a preseason game. So
yeah, and I guess I've already. Yeah, no, that's very true. It's do it on Friday or Sunday if the Broncos are playing Saturday, or do it way earlier. I think, because I kind of already talked about this, but it's I thought the offense, the first string offense, looked better. Although they went 3 and out again to start the game. I'm just getting a little tired of seeing that. I think still the biggest area of concern is the cornerback group for the Broncos. Chris Harris was out, so we got to see a little bit more of Tremaine Brock, but I want to see, and I think we'll get to see that this week, is Brock, Roby, and Harris all on the field at the same time. Everybody's talking about how they think Isaac Yiadom looks good despite, getting worked in the preseason, and he's been targeted a ton, and given up, a lot of plays. I wish I was better at evaluating football so I could be like, yeah, he's in position. He's gonna get there. But my concern is kind of that group. I'm excited about DeMarcus Walker. I think the pressure on the defensive line from him and Shelby Harris is going to be nice this season. And if they're getting sort of that interior pressure, I've got very high hopes for Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. Those are kind of the things I'm noticing. But really, we're going to, I think, learn a lot more tomorrow night when they play Washington.
Yeah, no, I agree. The things that I really thought were notable were that Royce Freeman, I think, looks like pretty much far and away the lead back over Devontae Booker. He didn't really bust out any long, impressive runs like he did with that touchdown run against the Vikings. But he's a good automatic 4 or 5 yards. He's able to jump cut in the backfield and avoid interior pressure on inside runs like we saw with that 5-yard touchdown run. So that's a really valuable trait for a running back to have.
Yeah, his little sidestep move in the backfield there, because he could have been tackled for a loss, but it was a short run, but it was actually very impressive.
Yeah, you see, he does the little things pretty well as a runner, which I think you can probably attribute to him playing 4 years at Oregon. I think it was 4 years, right? He played for
I think so. He had forever. I think he had 80,000 carries there.
Yeah, so over the course of 80,000 carries, he learned a couple things, and I think that's one of them.
You could say Royce Freeman does all the little things well, and the little running back Phillip Lindsay does all the big things well.
Wow.
You could say that, Will.
Jesus Christ! All right, let's just end the show early. Okay, moving on. I also
But you have to admit you could say that, Will.
It's certainly a thing you could say.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted.
Yeah. The chemistry between Case Keenum and the receivers, I think, was pretty strong. I really liked that crossing route that he threw to Deshaun Hamilton.
Right.
I think the first down of Case Keenum's career with the Broncos. And then obviously 3 passes to Emmanuel Sanders that connected. A couple that didn't, but I think that'll just get sorted out over time. And I like the trust to throw the deep ball to Courtland Sutton and get that PI, because if you can get a big physical guy that's going to come back through the defender and get contact and either catch the ball or get pass interference,
right.
What more could you want? That's how Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
Right. But don't you think that pass to Sutton was underthrown, and if he would have just hit him in stride, he would have scored a touchdown there?
Yes, I do think so. But I like the decision making, and I like the balls.
Here's a question I have, because what everybody's talking. Well, I heard. Let's see who the fuck. Brian Griese basically said he was talking about Keenum developing his timing with the receivers, and they run different routes kind of than in Minnesota, so he'll get a little more accurate, as things progress, which I think is partially true. But what I wanted to ask you is, do you think there's any bit of concern with Keenum looking kind of off target on these throws, or do you think that is something that's going to just get better as he gets more comfortable in the offense?
I mean, the 2 misses were just footwork, really. And I think that just happens from time to time. The Deshaun Hamilton pass was really close. The Emmanuel Sanders pass, he sailed, and that just happens from time to time. So
yeah, so I think the Hamilton pass, I think that one's timing is just a little overthrown. The Emmanuel Sanders one, I think he sees Sanders too late, but he wasn't even close with that one. And the Sutton one, I wish he would have hit in stride, but it worked out, and I think it's just something to kind of pay attention to. And Keenum's proved that he's an accurate quarterback. So it's not like it's a guy who's had problems in the past, but it's been something that people have talked about all week. So I just see what you said.
And another thing I noticed too is that he's got a really, really quick release. And like that paired with the fact that he gets rid of the ball really quickly.
Yeah.
It's going to make the offensive line look a lot better than it is.
It's already done that.
Yeah, that's something they didn't have for the last 2 years, obviously.
Are you concerned about Ron Leary and his knee injury?
I am always concerned about knee injuries, so yes.
Because he's a game-time decision still. He's been basically sidelined all offseason, so.
Yeah, I would rather they not have to, like, put in Max Garcia at left guard. So that could be a little dicey. I think a lot of it will come down to, like, how well does McGovern move over to the other side if necessary, and like you need to put Garcia in there at right guard. How long does it take to get Sam Jones, the 5th or 6th round pick, on the field?
Yeah, he's hurt too. He's not playing.
Oh, right. Yeah, so that's one thing to look at. Hopefully he gets better. Are you having a seizure?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, those are my takeaways. Obviously, Chad Kelly, I think everybody's gotten their Chad Kelly takes in. Looks really good. What more can you say?
He looks so good. So the other thing that happened, Carlos Henderson returned to Broncos practice this week. If you don't know, Carlos Henderson, third-round draft pick last year? Was on IR all last season and then just didn't show up to camp this last month. Nobody knows why. He's apparently trying to get
overslept. Get
his head right, get whatever. He's got something going on. We have no clue what it is. And you're asking whether or not he's going to make the roster.
Yeah, does he have a chance to make the roster? So I think a lot of it is going to come down to, like, he's going to tell the coaches why he missed that period of time, and that's not information that's likely going to come out to us unless we get, like, a big-time Mike Kliss bomb in here.
Right.
But I don't see that happening. So
yeah, the only way we get a Mike Kliss bomb is if somehow
John Elway wants it.
Yeah, and it's a compliment to John Elway for letting Carlos Henderson back onto the team.
Benevolent dictator John Elway allows groveling third-round pick to return to practice.
Yeah, I think this week Kliss's tweet was something like, got to give John Elway credit for moving on from Menelik Watson. Eating $8 million in dead cap space. After
you got to hand it to him.
I also heard that, so the Broncos put Menelik Watson on injured reserve. He's their tackle they signed last offseason, like $17 or $18 million. This offseason, his contract became fully guaranteed in March for $5.5 million, and I had no clue as to why they kept him on the roster when they could have went out and tried to sign somebody else. And if they would have cut him before that, they would have been off the hook for his money. But I think Brandon Cristal tweeted something that Watson used his injury and when he was getting his surgery to ensure that the Broncos had to keep him on the roster this season because they couldn't cut him before the surgery or something. So Watson may have outplayed the Broncos and now will get paid $5.5 million this season for doing nothing, which to me is the ultimate life goal.
Yeah, no, he's smart. He's obviously from England, so he's smarter.
They're always smart.
He's smarter. He sounds smarter than the rest of us. I think this is just a lesson that you should only get your offensive linemen from either Wisconsin, Ohio State, or Notre Dame, and never the United Kingdom, ever.
No.
I don't care how good they are.
Because Watson's out with like a pec injury now, and he had tons of injury issues in Oakland. So I don't know why the Broncos thought he deserved as much money as he did. This idea when guys are like repeatedly injured and a team's willing to like part ways with them, usually like you shouldn't bring them in. I think the times that actually works out are far fewer than when they obviously don't. But what if Menelik Watson is so smart that he tore his pec, right? But maybe at home he's lifting and he already tears it at home and then goes into the game and pretends like he gets hurt there. So he gets all that money.
That would explain why he's unable to pass block in any sort of capacity.
Exactly. So he injures himself at home and then comes in to work and pretends, and he's basically suckering the Broncos for workman's comp.
Yeah. So who do you think was worse from like 2016 to 2017 at right tackle? Oh, okay. I'm going to throw in 2015. So we've had some bad ones. Michael Schofield obviously gave up the 5 sacks to Khalil Mack.
Right.
Still not signed, by the way. Ty Sambrailo, Justin Houston's personal bitch. Donald Stevenson, a little bit better than Sambrailo in my opinion. And then Menelik Watson.
Who was the worst?
Yeah.
Jesus.
They're all pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, that's hard to say. I mean, Sambrailo, he had the shoulder injury. I think that kind of affected a lot. I also don't think the Broncos should have taken him as early as they did. Watson, I think the expectations were high, so you thought he was going to be good. But you knew he was injury prone. So I'm gonna have to say probably Michael Schofield.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever forgive Schofield for that game.
I say that knowing he's done a little bit better in Los Angeles. So
fucking course. That makes it worse.
Good for him, but he was really bad, and also like another draft pick on the line that just didn't work out.
I will say, to Schofield's credit, he held up pretty well in the playoffs that year.
Right.
He didn't ruin any games.
I think that
probably had more to do with Peyton Manning, though.
Yeah, and I also blame like the coaching staff for being stubborn and not fucking getting those guys help earlier. It's like they're bad. They're not going to get better if you just keep telling them like that. Suck it up and you do your job. Like, send a fucking guy to chip, Khalil Mack or whoever the hell else is in there. But no,
yeah,
do that.
I was at that game. I was in the south stands when Schofield gave up all those sacks. And you could just see people like just like gritting their teeth and be like, somebody fucking chip him now.
You've got Virgil Green, or just put in 2 tackles. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, put in Tyler fucking Columbus and just have him run directly into Mac every single play.
Right.
I don't know. That's just an idea. We're digging up old ghosts here. So getting on to, speaking of injuries, though, like we were talking about with Menelik Watson, Su'a Cravens. He's injured again. My question for you, though, do you think Su'a Cravens actually exists? Because I'm not convinced. I don't think anybody is really sure. It's been stumping theologians since the beginning of time. Does he exist?
Yeah, if Su'a Cravens falls in the woods, does anybody hear? Right? It's the old philosophical question.
Hard to say.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like he could be a trick, an illusion by the Broncos to
could be a mirage.
Have got us, excited about the defense and that they could cover tight ends when they knew all along they had no plan to cover tight ends in 2018. I think the thing that's scary about Cravens is not only has he had an injury history in Washington, but a shown lack of desire to get back onto the field and play. He was out all of last season because of a concussion injury, which obviously if it was, serious, that's not an injury you want to rush back onto the field and do, and you don't want to play until you get the clear from the doctors. But I think some of what may be going on with him are psychological things, and I think the question is whether or not he actually wants to be out there and play. And again, it's a knee injury, so I don't know how serious it is, but, we're week 3 into preseason and we haven't seen him on the field. Vance Joseph said he had a setback like 2 weeks ago, so they're being smart about it, which is what Vance Joseph has said about every injury. We're being really smart about how we bring this guy back onto the field. But at some point, like, you're trying to make roster decisions, right? So there are guys behind Cravens out there playing, And if you're going to keep him, you're probably cutting somebody who has at least put in more of an effort than he has, and it might not be fair to that player. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what you do with him. You just got to hope he can get out for week 4 before you have to make those final cuts to see if he's got the skills to even be on the field, because he wasn't there last season. So he's a huge question mark. And yes, yeah. I don't know if he's real, Will.
I don't fucking know.
I've only seen him on Instagram.
And as we know, like, you can't trust everything you see on Instagram.
No.
People Photoshop that stuff to death. But my theory is that no, is he the person he wants us to believe he is? No. Yes, does he exist? I think it's very possible that he's a new Sacha Baron Cohen character, and he's going to show up on Who Is America, and he's going to expose somebody. So I think keep your eyes peeled for that. That's the only explanation I can think of, because he's definitely not he's not there to play football.
We're going to find out his best friend is Menelik Watson, and they have plotted all of this together.
Yeah, I know, because Menelik Watson sounds like an Ali G in the house character.
I never knew anybody named Menelik or Sua my entire life.
Yeah, no, there's no Meneliks down the street from me, just saying.
Although I like the name Menelik.
Yeah, it's strong.
Especially if I were a gay porn star.
I get it, because it's like men and also lick. Huh. That's, yeah.
I would be Menelik Steele. Or Menelik Rodson.
I think just Menelik, just like as a standalone name, like
Menelik, like Cher,
like Usher or Beyonce. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Just Menelik.
Menelik.
It's also a strong. I think it's like a strong middle name too.
Driver.
Yeah. If you have a kid, I don't know, like you'd probably get bullied if his first name was Menelik, but if that was his middle name, that's pretty strong, I think.
Could be.
Yeah.
So
probably move along here.
We're going to do Broncos Redskins preview, right?
Yeah. Broncos Redskins. So pretty simple. What do you want to see from the starting unit that should play a half, I think?
A not 3 and out to start the game. I don't care if it's just one extra set of downs, but I swear to God, if I see that happen again, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. Because I honestly don't remember the last time I saw the Broncos offense not go 3 and out. So that's the first thing I'm going to watch. Second thing I want to see is Adrian Peterson just get destroyed by the Broncos run defense. I'm not an Adrian Peterson fan, and I think
what has Adrian Peterson ever done that's wrong?
Don't want to get into it right now, but
okay.
I want to see him destroyed by the Broncos run defense, and also just because I want to see the Broncos run defense play well. And third, what's a third thing? I'll come back to it. You say what you want.
I've got one for you. You just want to see everybody have fun and be nice to each other.
I want to see a good team spirit, you know?
Yeah. I want to see guys patting each other on the back and helping guys up off the turf. I want to see good camaraderie.
Yeah, and I want to see Vance Joseph play the starters the entire game.
Yeah, because we need this win. You just can't go for 3 in the preseason.
I don't care how many injuries come with it. Keep the starters out.
He's in danger of losing his job if he doesn't win a preseason game.
Yeah. You know what they say? It's like, it takes a couple weeks into the regular season for teams to actually kind of gel and be in football shape, because the preseason's like so weak-ass week. And if the Broncos are smart, they'll get their starters ready now so that they'll beat all the teams early.
That's galaxy brain stuff. I like it. Well, maybe you should be coaching this team.
I could. You know how inspiring I can be?
As qualified, if not more.
I get the best out of men. Like, if you put me in a room with a bunch of men. I will get out of them everything they have inside of them. I will pull it out of them myself and get them to perform like they have never performed, leaving all of it, all of their bodily fluids on wherever. But I can get it out of the men more so than Vance Joseph.
And that's why you're simply known as Menelik.
Menelik. Full circle.
The male porn star. Okay, so things I want to see. I want to see Bradley Chubb get a sack. I think technically he got one against Mitch Trubisky. I don't know if it counted because
safety counts as a sack.
Okay, but I want to see like him just like beating the left tackle and then just like bending around the corner and pulling down Alex Smith.
He's going against a good left tackle in Trent Williams, who I guess Williams might only play one or two series. Like he's gonna have limited work, but if he performs well against him, that's I think a good sign.
Yeah, so he definitely got a lot better from week 1 to week 2, the preseason. So I just want to like put any sort of question marks or anything to bed that he's going to be a great player. And because, you can always tell he's going to be a great player from the preseason, obviously. Right. I'd like to see him get a sack.
Do you think Washington's receivers are good?
Maybe. I mean, it really depends on, like, if Josh Doxson gets better because he's kind of a question mark.
It's a trick question. They are not. So if this secondary gets worked by those receivers, not going to be happy.
Well,
don't get me wrong. Alex Smith, good quarterback, especially kind of good against the Broncos.
Recently, yeah.
Just lucky. He hasn't lost to him since 2015. So he knows the defense, a little bit of an advantage for Washington. But if the Broncos secondary struggles mightily against the Redskin receiving core, that is a big red flag.
It's hard to disagree with you there. So, yeah,
that's
my list.
Okay.
I do not want to see them struggle against the Washington Redskin receivers. Also,
more important that they call heads or tails to start the game.
This
is a big coaching decision. Good.
Tails because it never fails.
Right answer. Correct.
So I want to see a big play out of Cortland Sutton. Like I want to see him catch a deep ball this time. Obviously, it has to do a little more with the quarterback because he's probably going to catch that one for a touchdown. A great touchdown reception as well from Chad Kelly. That was a laser. He proved that he can run more than just a go route. So really liked what I saw from Sutton in like basically 2 big targets last week.
Right.
And then finally, like I just want to see Jake Butt get his name called because he's been pretty invisible so far.
Yeah, no, he really has. And I think Matt Lacoste is going to make the team because he's actually looked pretty good behind Hireman. And Hireman performed well, not only just like catching balls, but in pass blocking as well as Lacoste. So that's obviously important as a tight end. And with Fumagali's injury, I don't know when he's going to get on the field. So Lacoste kind of a surprise for me this preseason. The other thing, because I talk about in my preview video that I want to see, though, is Phillip Lindsay early in the game against the Washington's ones in third down situations. You know what I mean? Kind of see how he goes against the best sort of competition you can gauge in preseason as the third down back, which is the way you're probably going to use him. He's looked great in everything he's done so far, but I think that would be kind of like what you're saying with Sutton, kind of a key thing to take a look at.
Yeah, Lindsay looked really good. Obviously, we saw how good he looked as a receiver against the Vikings, but he looked a lot better as a runner too against the Bears.
Right.
So, especially like if he can pass block consistently.
Yeah, I think he's
going to be on the field a lot, especially
the
on
big unknown because he's a small guy. Yeah. He's like my size, but 30 pounds, 40 pounds heavier.
And not quite as fast.
All that muscle. Yeah, he's not as fast as me.
No, you got him there. So
that's the only strength I have is speed.
Yeah,
you're every girl I've ever been with, Will.
Usually it's them running away from you, but okay.
Whoa, that's not where I was going with that, but pretty good.
Gotcha there.
I'm not a sexual predator, you fucking dick. Also, pretty important, Chad Kelly. If he can come out and throw all of his passes left-handed, I think he could be the starter this year.
How big of a power move do you think it would be for if Paxton Lynch got cut and then Chad Kelly immediately changed his number to 12? Is there any coming back from that for Paxton Lynch, or does he just have to move to a third world country and never be seen or heard from again?
I told you, he just needs to work on his career as becoming a pro gamer. I think he can take that world by the storm.
Probably.
What? Okay, we're going to transition into NFL talking. Was Chad Kelly 12 in college?
He was 11 at Clemson and 10 at Ole Miss.
Oh, so he should be 9 here, really.
He could take 11, too, if who doesn't make the roster. So
who?
Carlos Henderson.
Oh, he's 11, huh? I really didn't know.
Double dicks.
Okay, we're transitioning to NFL talk. For everybody who – actually, if you don't like us talking about the NFL stuff, just put it on mute and walk away for 20 minutes. But because it hurts our feelings when you just listen to the Broncos. Yeah. And we know who you are.
Or just suck it up and listen to it. What do you think what do you have to do that's better than this? Probably nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first NFL talk is actually kind of still related to Washington, and it's that Adrian Peterson signed with Jay Gruden's team, the lesser of the two Grudens, because all of their running backs keep getting hurt. They had, Perine go down, and the other guy, there's two other backs.
Guice, yeah.
Well, Derrius Guice went down week 1. So they're banged up. Kapri Bibbs is getting a lot of action for Washington right now. But then, later in the day or the day after they signed Adrian Peterson, the Chiefs release Charcandrick West, who has played with Alex Smith. I think maybe even a better fit for the way Washington runs their offense. They at least with Kirk Cousins there, they used to run a ton of screen passes to their backs. Mm-hmm. And Bibbs had 7 catches last week anyway. So do you think they're regretting not waiting a day and going after a guy like Charcandrick West, or do you think they'll be happy with Peterson? Or do you think both would be sucky?
No, I think obviously Adrian Peterson is a better pure running back, but Charcandrick West, I think, is a better fit for what they do, because Adrian Peterson can basically do one thing, and it's run in a power blocking scheme out of an I formation. He's basically useless if you're handing it off to him in the shotgun formation. You might as well just kneel down if you're going to do that. And Charcandrick West can do a lot of things. Obviously, the Chiefs offense was run a lot of the times out of the shotgun, a lot of zone concepts, and they threw him the ball too. And Adrian Peterson basically refuses to participate in the passing game whatsoever. He's truly like a 70s, 80s style running back that just does one thing and does it really well, but that's not really what today's NFL is.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said there too for, your quarterback and running back to be on the same page. And for Alex Smith to kind of already know that with a guy like West would have been a good fit. Plus, Charcandrick West is 27. Adrian Peterson is, 33?
Yes, he's been around for a long time.
6 extra years. Lots of fumbles for Adrian Peterson. Nobody really talks about that. He's got a lot of fumbles.
People don't like to admit it, but they probably would have been in the Super Bowl in 2009, 2010 if he hadn't fumbled 3 fucking times in the championship game.
Yeah, I think he's got 42 career fumbles. So,
which is a lot.
Yeah.
Isaiah McKenzie trying to break that record, but yeah.
Right. So it's interesting to see. It'll be a fun thing to watch, I don't know, in that game to see kind of who gets looks. I'm hoping Kapri Bibbs is a former Bronco and Colorado State running back makes the roster. I don't know. He's shown signs to be kind of explosive and also great at catching passes out of the backfield.
Yeah. He scored a touchdown for them, I think, at the end of the year. Played pretty well for them. Obviously, they traded him to San Francisco, but ended up catching on with Washington. Caught like 5 or 6 passes in their game against the Jets last week, so they're using him. And, they're using him kind of how they were using Chris Thompson before he got hurt.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I took away from watching Washington. It's like, oh, they throw a ton of fucking screen passes.
Yeah, which is why Adrian Peterson is kind of a questionable signing. But I don't know. Who am I to question Jay Gruden? Who am I to question him?
Right. So
obviously
from Gruden to Gruden,
yes.
John Gruden signed cornerback, former Giant, former Bronco, Menelik Rodgers-Cromartie. And I said on Twitter, and I'll say it here again, Menelik Rodgers-Cromartie has John Gruden's favorite characteristic as a football player.
Having a lot of letters in his name?
Nope. Which is he was in the National Football League the last time John Gruden was still a coach.
Yeah, he's been around forever.
Because Gruden's been signing a bunch of old guys in case that joke went over anybody's head. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Marshawn Lynch, Doug Martin, Menelik Rodgers-Cromartie, Jordy Nelson. The Raiders are definitely favorites to win Super Bowl 47. I don't know what more you can say. I'm glad that they didn't sign George Iloka instead, because I think that would have been a much more valuable signing for them.
Is it George Loka or George Ioka?
Iloka, yeah.
Very Ricky Martin-ish.
A little bit. That's a
stretch. That's a stretch, Will. William.
Do
you think? Yeah, no. Where did Ioka go?
Minnesota,
right. And that's a great signing for them.
Okay.
They already have the 2 best safeties in the league. And if something happens to one of those guys, like him coming in to, give them a break, or if they want to have 3 fucking safeties on the field, like that defense, that's a great fit. Menelik Rodgers-Cromartie, do you think the Broncos should have taken a look at him, or do you think he's too old and washed up? I don't know how he played last year.
I think he played pretty well. I think the Giants wanted him back, but no, I'm cool. Yeah, they haven't said how much he signed for in Oakland. I assume it's a 1-year contract, because if it's anything longer than 1 year, I think Khalil Mack would be beside himself right now. But that would be a very John Gruden thing to do at the same time. I assume it was 1 year for $5 million, but I'm cool with testing out Yadam for the time being. And if they really want to get a cornerback, go after Kayvon Webster, who obviously knows the defense,
trying to get work,
can play special teams really, really well.
Yeah, but I mean, coming back from an Achilles injury, that's always a little scary.
A little dicey.
But
I think a good depth option for sure.
Right. Okay, so I think the next thing is the helmet targeting rule.
Yes.
Very popular amongst everyone.
A lot of people getting mad online about this helmet rule.
I am one of those people.
I don't know, because it's really hard. You really want to tell yourself that I'm not going to get mad at something that happens in preseason, because that's just not a good look for yourself. I think you really shouldn't get too invested on anything that happens before September 6th, I think. So I'm going to try to stay optimistic, say if they're just calling it as a blanket rule, and they're going to sort it out later on.
But they said they're not, Will. They admitted this.
Newsflash, Brandon. The NFL says a lot of things, and then they do something else.
Yeah, they're a bunch of fucking liars. That's all we know for sure about the NFL. Here's what I don't get, okay? I don't understand why you would call the rule one way in preseason to confuse your refs, confuse the fucking players, and then change it for the regular season. That, to me, doesn't seem to help anybody. Why not just practice calling it correctly through the preseason?
Because it's such a hard rule to call that I think that
they want to collect the data on it.
I'm not convinced there is any data.
We want to collect the data and take a look at everything and just call it the way it's supposed to be called.
You fucking nerds.
That way your refs are ready.
I think it's best that you just not call it because I don't know. Like you and I both played football at one level or another.
Yeah, I played D1 college. And then I got kicked out for doing too much drugs.
Well, that's for another episode.
That's the story that I'm going to tell everybody and my children.
Well, yeah. No, you'll have to wait for the 30 for 30 to come out. Don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, like they teach you to you don't use your head necessarily, but you plant your head like at their hip, like on the side of their hip when you tackle and you wrap up. Like, you can't just, have your head like this the whole time. That's not how it works. That's just not how biology is configured.
And you can keep your head up and your eyes up, and obviously that's the best way to do a form tackle.
Yeah, but it's not going to work every time.
To go in, you can't be like, okay, I got to do my head up here, not right here. You know what I mean? Like, when you're going in, that head's probably going to go down. Yeah. I think looking to see and I get what they're trying to do, right? And I think the two areas it makes sense is one area they already had covered. Like, you don't want to see a player leading with his helmet into another guy's helmet. Like, the helmet to helmet rule, already fine. Nobody had a problem with it, right? The other thing is, I think when it happens and the player didn't need to lay into somebody, even though maybe it's legal, like somebody, I don't know, kind of unsuspecting player just gets taken out on a kickoff, a kick return, or away from the play, and you see, the guy go in with that sort of angle makes sense to me. But to bring it into where defenders are trying to tackle ball carriers, when if you look, almost every ball carrier lowers his head before getting hit because that's kind of how you defend yourself. It's just, I don't know. It's like a recipe for disaster. And when I played football, I was one of the guys I was a very good tackler, very good form tackler.
Like Champ Bailey, yeah.
But part of that's because I was too scared to lay super hard hits on people because I didn't want to drop my head into players. So it's I'll just get low, and I'm short, so that was easy, and wrap up and let them fall over to the side. But that was just because I was a pussy. So these guys who make it to the NFL aren't pussies. They're not scared to do that. No. And not a single player was complaining about that beforehand. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so form tackling works as long – it works really well, and you don't have to use your head as long as the person is standing straight up. And running backs don't stand straight up. They run very low to the ground. They get their shoulders down when they run. Basically, they try to make it so you can't form tackle them in open space. You kind of just have to get low too. You have to use your shoulders too and get low to the ground. And it's going to make things really, really easy for the offense. I think we're going to see a lot of just whiffed tackles. Obviously, the penalty yardage is going to be a real thing, and that's going to help offenses get down the field a lot. But you just have to hope that it gets sorted out. Maybe not at the beginning of the regular season, but if there's a crisis, they'll do something about it.
A football crisis in America.
Yeah.
Do you think the NFL does this every year on purpose? They know it's going to get everybody talking about it. They don't really give a shit about the game. They just want to keep people interested and angry because that is attention. It's I feel like you can.
I don't think the NFL is that competent.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. Fair enough. They are too stupid to be that calculated.
Yeah.
So
I
I
would
keep
say
hitting my desk.
I don't know if they need it. Like, I could see a lesser sport trying to go for that angle, but the NFL, like, people are just watching no matter what happens. Like, you could pretty much do anything and people would still watch, I think.
Yeah, I think that we're just trying to take the head out of the game is like the dumbest fucking sentence.
Yeah.
In the head out of the game. You know,
You just can't. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, at some point, like, you have to accept the risk in football.
Yeah. And I think every player out there has. Like, the
Yes.
whole problem arose because the NFL hid concussion effects from players for many, many years, right? And they let people take on head injuries over and over again, which is the worst thing you can do for a head injury. Nobody was telling them, you know, we got to just get rid of concussions out of the game. We got to get rid of it. Like, do everything you can to make it helmets better, to make players aware of what the repercussions are for if you do try to play through a concussion or if you go back too early from it, and continue to educate at every level of football the best way to tackle and, you know, play the game to keep your body safe and healthy. But the reason people like football is because of the violence. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big part of the draw. And when players understand the risk of it, I think it's still appealing. And if somebody doesn't want to play because they know how serious head trauma is, I'm fine with that. The NFL is never going to run out of people wanting to play the game.
Right. Yeah.
And like talking about like a drop in youth participation and all this stuff. I don't think it's – if it does affect the NFL, it's very far down the line. And
I also –
I'll be dead anyway, so.
Yeah, so nothing to worry about. I also don't think, like, necessarily kids should be playing tackle football before high school. Yeah. I don't think it's necessary before then, really. Like, it's great to learn the game, and, like, you can learn it through flag football or whatever, or just, like, watching it, or, you know, you can participate in sports in other ways, but I think before high school, like, it's just kind of unnecessary.
Well, yeah, and especially what we know now about how much more a child's brain is at risk from multiple concussions. So
right. The Chiefs fans have been calling that 69-yard Mahomes to Tyreek Hill pass against the Falcons, quote, the pass. So my question to you is, how big of a loser do you have to be to give a preseason play a nickname?
Big one.
Yeah, like you have to be like someone who hasn't won a Super Bowl since.
Yeah, you have to be desperate. You have to be desperate.
That's dumb. Yeah,
I didn't even know
let's
that
just make fun of the Chiefs. Yeah, no, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
The pass is what they're calling it?
The pass, yes.
When did that pass occur in the game? Do you remember?
I think it was like the first or second quarter.
Yeah, it's silly.
So, yeah, when you think of, like, signature plays in the NFL, Dwight Clark, the catch two with Terrell Owens, the fumble, the drive.
Those were also games that those teams
last week.
Those teams won in
the playoffs.
Meaningful games. The Chiefs got blown out last week. They scored 14 points, and their opponents scored 40?
But did you see how far he threw the ball?
Yeah, he threw it very far.
Yeah, that was 69 yards. I'm shocked that no one made a better nickname like the nicest pass of all time, but that's probably over a lot of Chiefs fans' heads, to be honest.
I will say Tyreek Hill's probably going to pose some problems.
Yeah, he's really fast.
I think, but like he's like the kind of guy you can just manhandle on the fucking line. So you put, I don't know. I would just hit him every play.
Give him a taste of his own medicine.
Exactly.
He's a dickhead.
So we're gonna close this out with your new segment.
Okay. So we've got a segment here. It's called Take Hunters.
Take Hunters.
Like Brandon said, it's not like House Hunters. It's for takes. So basically, what I've done is I use my brain my very smart brain to come up with 5 pretty dumb takes that I think are so dumb that somebody dumb on Twitter has already thought of it. So basically, like, I thought of a hot take. For example, this isn't one I'm going to use, but like, Von Miller isn't the best Broncos defender, or like Chad Kelly's going to win Rookie of the Year, like Ben Simmons. So you think of a dumb take, and then what I'm going to do is ask Brandon, do you think someone on Twitter has already actually made that take? Like, non-ironically, not knowing anything about this segment, they just put that take out into the wild for other people to see. So if he says yes, and I search the tweet on Twitter and find out that someone has in fact made that tweet and made that take, he gets a point. If not, if he gets it wrong, obviously no points awarded. But we're gonna do 5 takes here, and who knows if this segment's gonna be good? It could be the worst thing you've ever heard or seen on a video. So we're trying things out. We're trying to be creative here.
We're trying.
Yeah. Here's Take Hunters.
Take Hunters.
All right. The first take I have for you. Adrian Peterson will rush for 2,000 yards with the Redskins in 2018. Do you think someone has made that take on Twitter?
Oh, man. I feel like somebody probably has. But I'm going to say no.
Okay. All right. I've got it queued up, so I'm going to look for it now.
You'd have to be an idiot to believe that.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Somebody say that?
At Johnny Obeid, August 19th, when the Redskins sign Adrian Peterson and he gets over 2,000 yards again. Greater than symbol, greater than symbol, greater than symbol. There it is.
If that happens this season, I will shave off my beard.
Wow, that's
Let's do a week by week Adrian Peterson yard count, and if he gets 2,000 yards, I'll shave my beard off.
I got it. I got a pure take here. At _Louis P. Oh, this is December 2012. Redskins lead the NFL in rush yards, a little over 2,400 yards. Adrian Peterson has over 2,000 himself. I thought that was a prediction. That's actually what happened in 2012. But no, we actually did get one. Adrian Peterson gets over 2,000 yards.
So I have 0 points.
Yeah.
Next hot take. Take Hunters.
Take Hunters. We just talked about him. Pat Mahomes is your 2018 MVP. I think I just spit on the laptop a little bit, but that's okay.
Knowing that Chiefs fans are already giving names to their preseason plays, I'm going to say yes. Somebody has set that. Easy.
All right, so I've got
and their name's going to be like Chief Guy 101 or Arrowhead Football Hunter, something.
All right, so I've got someone that quote tweeted the pass and said Pat Mahomes is going to be an MVP. Didn't say 2018. Okay. I've got one that says Pat Mahomes 2019 MVP.
Oh.
I've got one that says Pat Mahomes, the 9-time NFL MVP, will bring me victory.
See, I like that tweet. That's a tweet I would make.
Yeah. I could not be more excited. Pat Mahomes for MVP.
So he's already saying he's going to vote for him.
Okay. I got it. Someone quote tweeted, "What's the hottest take you got about your team right now? Say it with your chest before camp starts." And then Harris Ben 37 tweeted, "Pat Mahomes, NFL MVP."
So it's been said.
Right below it, Pat Mahomes going to win MVP this year. Remember this tweet.
I also think for this segment, if you find like a known sports personality or a blue check mark,
that's like 2
sports
points.
Writer to say something like this, it's 2 points.
2 points. Okay, so you got that one. So
I'm
you're
1 for 1, baby.
Yeah. I think you're 1 for 2, actually.
Take Hunters. I'm 1 and 1. You're right.
Oh, 1 and 1, yeah.
1 for 2.
Okay. This is
Shout out.
this is a wild take here, but I think someone might have said it somewhere along the line. Colin Kaepernick will be deified and become a saint.
Whoa.
Not like a New Orleans saint, like a saint in the Catholic Church.
Right.
Like he's
Honestly,
going
I
to
think
achieve sainthood.
I think Kaepernick has a better chance of being named like an actual saint than playing in the NFL again.
I don't think you're wrong. That's why maybe this take isn't as hot as I thought. All right, so I've searched it. I'm gonna scroll through. Let's see it. Okay.
I feel like that's too specific. Like, yeah, somebody had to say it.
Oh boy. From November 13th, 2017, at Josh Cohen Radio. Colin Kaepernick has become a martyr. He is on the cusp of sainthood. Next July, he'll present an award at the ESPYs and receive a tearful standing ovation. Watch. # Colin Kaepernick.
Well, it didn't happen as quickly as that man predicted, but that is a bold take.
Yeah. Also from at Adam Soak, I think he's Mormon, at Kaepernick7, I wish I had $10,000 to match your generosity to one of the organizations you're highlighting. In the meantime, you're on a glide path to civic sainthood. Okay.
Dang.
Yeah.
So did I say that would happen or not?
I think you said technically yes, because it's more likely than him actually like playing in the NFL.
Cool.
Finally, from 2012, Dan Deerdorf has turned John Gruden in his effusive praise of Colin Kaepernick. I'm sure he'll be contacting at Pontifex, which is the Pope Saint Twitter account. Or not Saint, but like just his Pope's Twitter account.
The Pope
next about sainthood. So that's from 2012.
That was
but
before he even became a charity guy. Like I'm going to do better stuff for the world guy.
Correct. So yeah, people think that
hot.
Colin Kaepernick will be deified as a saint. So we'll give you 2 for 3 there.
Yes.
Next one, and I think this take might not have been hot enough, but we're going to give it a shot. Browns win the AFC North.
I don't think anybody believes that, but could I see a Browns fan saying that? Yes.
Browns, you're not giving Browns fans enough credit. I think they're intelligent people.
I do too, but I think they're being sold a little bit of Kool-Aid from Hard Knocks.
The Hard Knocks thing will probably make this a reality. Not like that they're actually going to win the AFC North, but, you know, the fact that people will predict it. Here's your blue check mark, at The Score, Vegas taking heavy bets on Browns to win AFC North, Super Bowl. Okay, also
it's going to win a lot of money.
Okay, so here's from my bookie, at Bet My Bookie. Maybe it's the # Hard Knocks effect, as we've good grammar, more people betting the # Browns to win the AFC North than the # Steelers, # Ravens, and Bengals combined.
Dang.
So people actually do believe this take because they're betting on it.
That's insane.
That's better than a take.
Yeah, that's hey, I'm going to put some of my hard-earned money on this.
Yeah, so that's tough.
The hype is more than real.
Okay,
are the Browns real?
Here's just a good Twitter take that'll just put this one to bed. At BrownC26, this was 17 hours ago. Hugh Jackson is not going anywhere. Baker Mayfield won't start one game, and the Browns will win the AFC North. Folks better get that in their heads.
I don't know, man. I don't trust Todd Haley. I don't trust their fucking Greg Williams. I'm not sure how good of a head coach Hugh Jackson actually is. For this team to make it that far through a season, I think is a stretch. But do I think they'll be better this year? Yeah, they've got a lot of talent.
They literally have to be.
They've got talent. So we'll see.
Sure as fuck not getting worse. I don't think you can win a negative game, but nothing lower than 0. So, but if there was a way to find out,
They would have to forfeit the season for it to be worse. Like, just have to give up. Say we're not playing anymore.
Yeah, I think Carl Nassib would have to be arrested for tax fraud.
He's probably the one placing all those bets.
Yeah, because he's just a fucking moron. Yeah, that guy's a meathead. All right, moving along. The last take I have, this one's not about an NFL team, but it's about Brandon Perna. And that take is Brandon Perna has a fake beard. Your thoughts?
Somebody said that. I will find them, and I will rip out some of these hairs from my face, and I will make them eat it. And I will say, you think that's fake now? You think that beard's fake now? And yes, I'm sure somebody's probably said that. No way. On Twitter, though, I don't think anybody said that on Twitter. Maybe like in my YouTube comments.
Yeah. Weigh in the comments. Do you think Brandon has a fake beard? I don't think so. I'm just putting it out.
Fake.
I'm just putting it out there as something that someone might say. All right. Let's see what Twitter has to say. Brandon Perna, fake beard. No results for Brandon Perna, fake beard.
Yes.
Your beard's safe this week.
4 out of 5, mother lovers. Or 3 out of 5. I don't know. The points don't matter.
No, they really don't. It's just about
that we have something to talk about.
Showing that people have some pretty fucking wild takes.
Let's get on something to talk about.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's the inaugural edition of Take Hunters.
We did it. We made it through, everybody.
Yeah, that might have been the worst segment of all time. It might have been.
No, it was all right. I think we just do.
Funny.
I think we do 3 takes, and I don't know if you guys have suggestions. Please let us know. We're always trying to be just above mediocre, and we will continue
to work too hard, but
to do that. Broncos, Redskins, Friday night. I'll have a recap video up after that. Will Keys is writing for That's Good Sports. So that'sgoodsports.com. Connected to my Patreon account. Will is putting articles there. So make sure you check it out. He's on Twitter at WillKeys6. And Instagram. He's helping me out with my Instagram. We're doing daily NFL updates there with very funny captions. Sometimes just kind of funny captions and sometimes not funny captions, but again, they are there.
Sometimes just captions that make you sad.
Yeah, at Brandon Perna on Instagram. Right. That's where those are. If you made it this far in the podcast, Will, what should they say?
I think they should weigh in on your fake beard. Just beard and whether it's fake. Not that it is fake, because it's definitely not fake.
Get a discussion going about this.
Yeah. Some people might think that my beard was fake because I don't have it anymore, but that's just what happens when you shave. So, when was the last time you shaved, by the way? I think people want to know.
I trim it every now and then.
No, but just got rid of it.
I haven't been without a beard for 6 years, so it's been a long time.
You think you'll ever get rid of it? Ever?
Probably one day.
What would have to happen to get you to shave your beard?
My wife divorcing me.
I was thinking more yeah, that's fair, but I was thinking something wild that would happen in the NFL that would be
Adrian Peterson runs for 2,000 yards.
Yeah. Okay. All right, people. Keep note of Adrian Peterson's rushing totals this year because Brandon Perna just said it. If he surpasses 2,000 yards,
I'll shave the beard.
That beard's coming off.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Safe, but yeah.
Bye.
See you guys.